The FIBA World Cup is starting, and I'm not sure how to feel about Team USA so far. I mean, yeah, some of these players are great individual players in the NBA, but we're already seeing some problems from them before the tournament has even started. I will say I have some hope that Steve Kerr can make the correct decisions to make this team even better, but those are all things we'll get into after talking about the toughest matchup for this year's Team USA. Now, I'm sure you guys can guess what team I'm going to be talking about, and if you don't know, it's Team Canada. I mean, they are absolutely stacked. Starting off with the obvious, that being Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, SJ is arguably the most talented player in this entire FIBA tournament, and I'm saying that knowing that Luka Doncic is also in this tournament. Whether or not you think I'm overrating SGA, let me know in the comments, because I stand by what I said. But we already know what SGA can do. I mean, the guy averaged 31, 4, and 5, I'm pretty sure, last year, which is just absurd. But with SGA out of the way, I want to talk about one of the most underrated players on this year's Canada team, that being Dillon Brooks. Listen, I know that last year Dillon Brooks got a terrible rap because of all the stuff he did off the court and on the court, because he did have some incidents happen on the court last year. I feel like this upcoming year is going to be the redemption arc for Dillon Brooks, and I want to say that not only because the Memphis Grizzlies quite literally banished him from being on their roster, like they said, your ass is not welcome back here, but I think overall all of the outside narratives, all the media really got to him, and I just have this feeling that he will be a changed player. Not necessarily saying that he will no longer be like a pest on the court or like be annoying, because I mean, he's gonna have those moments, but I personally think, or at least I hope deep down, that Dillon Brooks is done being this off-court monster or villain that he says, because it's kind of corny, and I think he sees now that it wasn't really worth it, right? He lost his spot on his team, and now he's in Houston, which he did get his money. Congratulations to him, but still. But even if you don't like Dillon Brooks because he's a pest or he says some things off the court, he is one of the best defenders in this year's tournament and in the NBA overall. Like I said, whether or not you like him, it is a true fact, and this team is stacked with other good defensive players. One of those being Lu Dort, who is honestly one of my favorite players and I cannot get enough of right now. I mean, words cannot describe how much I love watching Lu Dort. The torture chamber is huge. We saw a lot last year. Honestly, besides the FIBA tournament, I just cannot wait to see this year's OKC team play. I mean, it's just going to be amazing. But yeah, Lu Dort and Dillon Brooks on the same team is scary defense. But moving on to some of the other guards on Team Canada, Jamal Murray, who I honestly see being as an underrated player on this team, which is crazy to say considering he just got done averaging 26 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists in the playoffs last year, not to mention winning a fucking championship. I just feel like he still doesn't get his credit as being like one of the top tier guards in the NBA. So with all the attention being on SGA, I feel like Jamal Murray is going to be this very, very, very scary second option, if you want to call him that. And another player who I really don't think a lot of people know is actually on this team, RJ Barrett. I could be wrong, but I feel like not many people have mentioned his name. I mean, RJ is just another solid 20-point scorer who can go out and get you a bucket. I mean, there are just so many threats for this team. It's just, it's disgusting. But the last and biggest weapon for this Canada team, and no, this is not biased, Coach Jordi Fernandez. And I say it's not biased because he is the Kings assistant coach. All right, maybe it is a little bit biased. Jordi is overall just an amazing coach, and as just a Kings fan, I love seeing him get this opportunity and be able to do this because he really does deserve it. And if Team USA doesn't win, I really want to see Team Canada win just because Jordi is the coach. The one big weakness I could really find though for Team Canada was the fact that their center position really has no depth. Like they have Kenny Olynyk and Norman Powell, who just, you know, when you compare it to the rest of the list, there's really not much there. But moving on to the team that I'm sure a lot of you guys will be supporting in this year's FIBA World Cup. If you don't, let me know in the comments what team you are supporting. Team USA. I'm starting this off immediately talking about Anthony Edwards. I mean, the first day of scrimmages, we saw the national team get absolutely cooked by the select team. And you'd sit and wonder why the national team was losing so bad. It was because Anthony Edwards wasn't even in the starting lineup. The next day when Steve Kerr put Anthony Edwards in the starting lineup, they swept the select team. This just goes to show that you need Anthony Edwards on the floor if you want to win the game, and you need him to be a starting player. He is a starting caliber player already, and I think Steve Kerr was just trying some things out with seeing how players fit with other players, but that is something that we are confirmed to see. We are going to see Anthony Edwards dominate in this year's tournament. Brandon Ingram is another player who I think is going to be crucial for this team's success, but in a different way. It seems like he's really trying to play as the playmaker for this team instead of making his own shots. He's been passing the ball like crazy, and honestly some great reads and great finds for him. I cannot wait to see him actually do this in a real game setting. But with Brandon Ingram, we also know that if the other team comes over and starts cutting off passing lanes or starts really locking down on his passing, he will still be able to be productive and be a great player on the floor because he can make his own shots. He can pull up from 3, he can go into the mid-range, he can do whatever he really wants. One of the big controversies though surrounding this year's USA team is the fact that Austin Reeves is on this team. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that Austin Reeves doesn't deserve to be on a team or discredit the work that he's put in to make it this far in his career, but I just can't help but feel like there are better players out there who could have had this spot. I'm not saying that Austin Reeves is going to perform bad or he's just a shitty player overall, because I think he will still perform good. He will still have some good games, he'll have some good highlights, some good moments, but I just can't get on this Austin Reeves hype train, because to me it feels like Lakers fans are just really pushing for one of their players to be known as a great player, and the media takes this and goes with it. And to me, it's just, if we saw Austin Reeves on the Washington Wizards, he would be considered just another player or a great player for a team. He wouldn't be a Team USA type player. Instead, you would see someone like Trae Young, who has been snubbed multiple years in a row for a Team USA spot, whether that's Olympic or just this FIBA World Cup. I mean, it is absolutely insane that they're still treating him like shit, but whatever happens, happens. I hope Austin Reeves does have a good time, and I hope that he can really make some effective plays. Someone who I don't think will really be effective, and I'm not trying to hate in any way, but Tyrese Halliburton. I feel like Steve Kerr won't be using Tyrese Halliburton the correct way, which is why we won't see him play at his best, because if Tyrese doesn't have the ball in his hands, he is not going to be effective. I mean, I'm a Kings fan. I saw him play on the court with De'Aaron Fox, who also needs the ball in his hands, and when Tyrese isn't the one running the offense, he's not really that good. And we've kind of already seen this from practices where he's not the one running the offense or anything, and I just feel like we're not really going to see much from him, or at least he's not going to live up to the expectations set, and that'll just lead to a lot of really shitty stuff. Overall, though, I know that there's a lot of talent on this Team USA roster, and it would take me forever to go over each player individually, so instead I really just went over those players who I had a lot of thoughts about, and I already know about how they're kind of performing already. But depending on how far Team USA makes it, I'll probably make another video talking about them. So if you're excited for the FIBA World Cup, or you did enjoy this video, be sure to like and subscribe. And like I said, leave a comment before on what team you will be supporting. Will it be Team USA, or will it be another team like France? I know France is a solid team as well. If you do enjoy my content, though, be sure to click the video up on the screen, and I'll see you guys all next video. Later.